Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Richie and it's nice to meet you. Judging by the title of this video, I'm just gonna be talking about mental health. If that's not of interest to you, feel free to click away from this video. There's a few other things on this channel that maybe you'll be more interested in, but like I mentioned a few videos back, it is May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I did want to kind of have that be the focus of the videos that I post for the month of May. And I thought a different way to kind of go about it that may be a little bit more therapeutic is to do it while watercoloring. So with that, let's get started, and I need to get everything set up, so let's go. Okay, so now we're all set up. I realized while I was thinking about making this video that I don't have a table in my apartment, believe it or not. When it's a party for one, I didn't really think a dining table was really necessary, so I had to get like a little makeshift one. So this is actually like a giant cutting board that I have that is on top of a ottoman. So this may be a risk. I don't want to get it stained, but ideally it's watercolor, right? So it should come out if I spill. I do want to preface, I'm not good at watercoloring. A previous job that I had, it was really stressful, and so my ex was like, you need to figure out a way to not stress yourself out. I was like, okay, I'll watercolor. Little did I know watercoloring is actually pretty hard. I'll show you examples of how bad I am. So let's see, a lot of these are just like doodles. Like I tried to do like abstract work. I got into like doing trees. I think those look pretty decent. Oh, I got really good at making these flowers. This was like the first one I think I did. It was like a panda. Long story short, I'm not good at it, but I'm excited to do it. We're gonna have some fun. And I feel like this would be a fun way to kind of talk out some feelings that I've had, because that's just what we're gonna do. And then I think I wanna try and recreate this thing. I don't know. So we're gonna set these off to the sides, that way, point of references. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to be better at watercoloring, so we'll just see how much I've retained. Okay, hey everybody, so we're gonna get into it. I realized for the first like 14 minutes I was just rambling and not really, I was just kind of going through my thoughts, and so I've definitely already started painting. So that's what all that looks like. Now I feel like I kind of have a better idea of kind of how I want to go into this topic. Mental health, a lot to unpack, a lot of things are in my mind. Sorry, we're gonna restart and we're gonna continue on with our lives here. Well, actually, to go back a little bit, I've never actually seen a therapist or talked to like a professional counselor about my anxiety or about kind of all my mental health. Like I was not ready to kind of have those conversations with people about it, but now as an adult, that's definitely something I am wanting to kind of seek once when this pandemic is over. A lot of my mental health as like my current age within the past 5 years has really been centered around anxiety. I kind of started coming into an awareness of my social anxiety that I'm considering to be my social anxiety probably like my junior or senior year in college. But I look back and I probably had it throughout my entire life, and I just didn't have the vocabulary, I didn't have the understanding or knowledge that is social anxiety of what I had. Does that make sense? Like I just didn't know what it was. Like I kind of wrote off like me being awkward in social settings as me just being awkward, or me being shy, or me being introverted, but that it went deeper, it went past that. The more I kind of learned about what social anxiety is, different people's experience with social anxiety, what it's like for them, it's like, nah, that's me. That, you know, aligned with kind of how I felt. It definitely brought a level of, how do I say, like comfort almost, like when I found out that what I had was social anxiety. Just like being able to put into words like what I was feeling, it made me feel a little bit normal. It made me feel like, oh, okay, like other people are going through this too. Like I'm not weird. Like I'm not alone in this, basically is what I'm trying to say. My social anxiety, if I had to try and explain it, I don't even know if I can put it into words. It's almost just like I go into a room and everybody is just looking at me and just waiting for me to humiliate myself. You know, I'd be at a networking event for work, for instance, or at like a school event in college, and all I would think about is, how am I right now? How am I looking like to everybody else? Like, am I smiling enough? Do I look friendly? Do I look annoyed? Do I look scared? Do I look shy? Like, they would just have such a hyper awareness. If anyone has like a similar experience with that, it's just like your brain is constantly going, constantly coming up with these different scenarios that I'm just needing to process and needing to deal with, and it was really tiring, honestly. Like, I would just feel so exhausted, and I'm not even talking to anybody. It was just the thought of being in this space, the mentality that I would then get into, it was just like, I was like, oh my goodness. So it's not even like big group settings, it can be small settings too, where I'm just not comfortable. Like when I would get, I think back on when I would get dinners with my ex's parents or family members and whatnot, I was trying to explain to him, I was like, it is like I'm sitting at the dinner table with you all, but all I'm thinking about is, how do I look? Am I smiling enough? Am I nodding enough? Am I acknowledging them, kind of what they're saying? And you know, why are they making that face towards me? Or like, do I need to position myself this way if they're talking to me? Or how do I engage this person next? Or I need to ask these certain questions, like what questions do I need to ask? I'm forgetting the questions I need to ask, and oh shoot, they're talking to me. Smile, nod, acknowledge what they said, but then start thinking of questions to kind of further engage in the conversation. And that would just be constantly going on to my mind, and for whatever reason, it just didn't flow. Like social situations like that just never, it was never comfortable for me. I never got to, I don't know, it was just like a dance I never could figure out, or a game that I never knew how to play. As I kind of grew up, like after graduating, basically went to the real world and started to become independent, started to become an adult and stuff like that. I think it kind of, what was my social anxiety kind of just drew into like a general anxiety. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It just kind of grew past just social settings. It would be if I'm thinking about my life. It would be thinking about going to the grocery store. Like, I get super anxious going to the grocery store, and I literally like need to write down a list. Otherwise, I've tried going to like Trader Joe's without a list, and I just feel extremely like panicked. That's kind of where it developed into as an adult. I remember there was actually one point where my ex and I, we were having, I don't know if we're having like an argument, we were talking about it, and I just remember crying about how much I hated the fact that I had social anxiety, how much I absolutely felt so controlled by it, so at its will, that I just got so mad. I just started breaking down and crying, and he was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I started looking backwards into my past as to why am I like this? You know, like what happened in my life that made me all of a sudden be this anxious, worried, hyper-aware person. And I realized, or if I had to allude it to, again, I'm not a professional. I had alluded to, I think it has to go to the fact that I was bullied. Basically all of like primary, secondary, what are those? Like basically from kindergarten to high school, I was bullied. I feel like for most gay people, or maybe I should say most people who are queer or just like different growing up, it's not a uncommon thing, as sad as that is to say. I was just picked on, and you know, people would call me names behind my back. People would say it to my face. I don't really know which one I preferred. Well, going back to what I was saying, I just remember I was in the car with my ex, and I was just so angry that I went through that. Like, I was just so mad that these kids decided to pick on me and to call me names and to make fun of me for being different, because it made me now this really anxious person in social settings. You know, I think it's a deep-rooted feeling of that, like, if I'm in a social setting, I could be made fun of if I do something weird, do something out of the ordinary. And, you know, just like how it was when I was growing up, it could be the same as an adult, or it's never gonna go away. But okay, so I finished one. I don't really know. Can you even see? You can't even really see the green. Not bad compared to the original. This one definitely looks more like whimsy. I don't really know how I did that. So yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to share about that, about like kind of like what I'm going through as a general thing. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give it a like and a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet. I definitely would. I don't really know what else I was about to say after that. But anyway, but thank you all so much for watching. Please continue to take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.